Hello, and welcome back to my Let's Play Etrian Odyssey series. Last time I just started up the game, made my initial party of characters for my dungeon exploration. Right now I have the sound off because I like having the sound off when I start playing, so I'm going to go into my basic party strategy, and hopefully maybe I'll be able to get into the dungeon this video. Alright, got all my characters in my party, and if you're a first-time player, this is the party I would recommend. Okay, I have, well, let's see, here we go, maybe, I think skill, or custom. It doesn't say the classes. Alright, my first character is the Fortress class. Fortress specializes in absorbing damage and redirecting damage towards it. If you're familiar with massively multiplayer online game concepts, this character role is known as a tank. I will use two different terms to refer the abilities of a character. That is the class and the role. Class is specifically it's specific to each character. It's the entirety of the skills that are available to it. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with a class. I'm just explaining that to people who aren't. Certain classes may take different roles. Generally, the Fortress doesn't. So, it's pretty important to figure out what you want to do with it. Taunt is probably the most important skill for a Fortress, because that's what redirects the damage towards him. If you'll notice on the bottom screen it says increases the chance of enemies targeting you for 4 turns. Also, briefly I'll explain, there are 2 types of abilities, well, 3 types I guess. Class skill, that is a skill specifically available to the class. Now, I may be wrong with this because I haven't played the Japanese version of the game, and this is only the demo. I haven't accessed subclassing yet. I'm pretty certain that you only get the class skill if it's your main class. And then you have passive skills that you don't choose to use. They're either available absolutely all the time, like Iron Wall increases your defense against physical attacks, or they'll have a chance to come into play, like Auto Taunt. Taunt may act... Oh, that's an auto skill. That's a new one. It used to just be... Oh, there's quite a few, actually. Well, I'll explain the skill tree in depth in a different tutorial. Right now, I'm going to pick Taunt because that's really important. He's not absorbing damage if he's not directing the damage towards him. You get 3 ranks to start out with. I'm going to do 2 ranks in Taunt. That'll unlock Auto Taunt. I kind of explained the skill tree and prerequisites in a different video. I'm also going to take Bolt Strike. That's an offensive maneuver. You may be asking why I use an offensive maneuver on a damage mitigation class. Well, Taunt only requires 2 TP to use. TP is the resource that you expend when you use skills. Okay. Next, Tiki. He is a Night Stalker. Night Stalkers... Well, actually, I'll go right down to AG. AG is the healer. And for her, I'm going to take healing, recover some hit points to one ally. That's a no-brainer. I'm gonna take refresh, although I wouldn't recommend it. I'm still going to because I'm playing as a new player would right now. Refresh heals status ailments. I'm also gonna take proficiency, increases the amount of hit P recovered with the party's healing skills. Now that's interesting, because it affects the entire party. My other party doesn't have healing skills, but it still affects the medic and it's only one skill point, and that's what she's there for. Her job is to keep the party members alive. Now, the next 3 classes are damage classes. Since all the damage is going to be, well, most of the damage is going to be redirected towards the fortress, and the healer is going to take care of healing that damage. These three are free to do as much damage as possible without necessarily focusing on survivability. The Night Stalker focuses on using status ailments, and their proficiency, their class skill, greatly increases the damage to enemies suffering from status ailments. Now, status ailments are not to be confused with binds, which I will get into detail with later. But suffice it to say, I have played with the Night Stalker before, and basically when an enemy does have a status ailment on them, it does about triple the damage, at least at this level. I'm not entirely sure how it scales at higher levels, but it's about triple the damage at this level. I'm then going to invest in Sand Throw. It says a ranged cut attack to deal to one enemy. May blind. That's actually a lot of gameplay information. Ranged, cut, and blind are all gameplay terms that I'll get into later. I'm going to take 1 rank in that. Generally, status effects, unlike in other games where they merely have a chance to apply the effect, in this game they will generally do damage too. So it's not a complete waste of time if you used a status effect and it failed. You'll still do some damage. Then I'm going to take Decoy Sign. Now, why would I take Decoy Sign? Well, it says increases the chances of one ally to be targeted by enemies for 3 turns. But I already have Taunt on my fortress. Why would I take Decoy Sign? Well, Taunt only provides a chance for that to happen. And it's also on the fortress, which is a very slow class. So there's a very strong possibility that on the first turn, the damage won't be redirected to him. I do believe I have... Oh, and I don't have Auto Taunt bought right now. Next is Tie Guy. He's a sniper. Snipers specialize in ranged damage, which I'll explain later. Their proficiency, it says bow skills may deal critical hits. Damage from critical hits increases. They also have Lock-On, which increases your critical hit rate for 5 turns. So clearly, they focus on critical hits. They also can do binds. Binds are similar to status ailments, which you're probably familiar with from playing other role-playing games. Binds are slightly different. Here's a Leg Snipe, binds enemy legs. Arm Snipe may bind enemy arms. And then unavailable in the demo is Head Snipe, which binds the enemy's head. Now, in this game, each skill, regardless of whether it's a character or a monster who uses it, it's keyed to a specific body part, leg, arm, or head. If you bind those body parts, or if their body parts are bound on you, you won't be able to use a skill associated with that body part. Generally, 4-legged creatures or creatures without arms will use leg attacks. Most creatures will use arm attacks, and magical or debuffs or buffs are head abilities. In addition to blocking the skills, binds have a secondary effect. If I remember correctly, and if it's the same, if someone's legs are bound, they're absolutely unable to evade an attack. Now, I may be wrong with that. I wouldn't say I have master or expert knowledge. I do have advanced knowledge in these games, though, which means I have beaten the first one and the third one but I have never beaten the post-game content, so I have working knowledge of the game. Leg Snipe will at least reduce their ability to evade. I can guarantee that. Arm Snipe lowers their attack damage, regardless of regardless of its regular attack or if it's a different type of attack, I believe. I may be wrong. If I'm wrong about any of this, please feel free to correct me politely. Like I said, I don't claim to be an expert or master at the game. I simply have a working knowledge of it. Head Snipe will lower their accuracy, but not as much as the blind status ailment would. It's still nice, though. So for him, I'm actually not going to take his proficiency right away. And, well, let's see. I'm just going to go 3 in long shot, because that unlocks steel arrow and flank shot. Both of them are multi-targeting abilities, and I'll explain them as he gets them. Starting to run a little low on time. I'll try to figure this out, get through this as quickly as possible. Next is a Rune Master. They specialize in elemental damage. Elemental damage you're probably familiar with from other games. It doesn't work quite as simply as in Final Fantasy games or Pokemon, where it multiplies it. Enemies have specific resistances, which vary among them, that will increase or reduce that damage by a certain percent. I'm actually going to end this video here. Unfortunately, I only have 3 minutes left, and I don't want to go over with it. So I will finish this off and hopefully get in the dungeon next video. Thanks for watching, and have fun.